Welcome to the Bear Marketing Network Content Management System. This tutorial will explain how to manage the images in your image library for use on your website. So basically, out of the choices on this page, not everyone will have this available, but Manage Images is right here on the right side. You go ahead and click that, and that brings us to our library of available images. Once you get going, there will obviously be many more photos in here. One thing I do want to point out to you, and let me zoom in on this over here. On the left side, there's some choices about creating new folders, and then you can name the folders whatever you want, and you can actually click on the folders and put your images right in there. So let's go ahead for this example, create a new folder, and we're going to call it, I'm going to zoom back out here. Okay, we are going to call it the Create New Folder window popped up down here. Let me zoom in on that. Let's call this folder Test Folder, and then all we have to do is click on the Create. Okay, now if we go back over here and we zoom in again on the left side, we have three folders, Category 1, Category 3, and a folder called Test Folder. I'm going to zoom back out, but I'm going to click on the Test Folder. We get into the Test Folder, you can see there are no images in there. So what do we have to do? We have to upload new images, and that choice is right here towards the upper left. Again, I'm going to zoom in on that so you can see it even better. I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out and click on Upload New Images. By the way, the zooming is just a feature of this video so you can see things more clearly. You will not be zooming in and out when you're editing your website with the content management system. So I'm clicking on Upload. Just like any Windows function or even in Macs, you have to select your folder and choose the pictures you want. You can choose an individual picture, or what I would like to show you is you can choose a group of pictures at once. And actually, let's see, this is 71 and 84. Depending on if you're looking at thumbnails of the images or if you're actually looking at the names, you could select them all. You do that by clicking one, holding down your control key, clicking a second. These are Windows commands. I'm not sure exactly what the Mac commands are. Or if you want to select a whole range, you click the first one, you go to the last one, you hold Shift, and you click, and it selects all of them. Actually, I'm going to go back to the extra large icons just to make this easier. Okay, let's say we want 85 and 104 here. So I'm going to click that one. I'm going to hold my control key and click the second one. And as you see right here, let me zoom in on this. It has selected both of those photos for us. I'm going to zoom back out, go ahead and click Open. And these are actually pretty large images, both in dimensions and file size. So we've recommended to our users that you find image editing simple software programs. You can go to download.com and you can search for Photo Batch Resize or image batch resizing, something of that nature. There's a bunch of programs. Make sure you click on the free ones, and you can narrow it down to only free ones, and find a good batch photo resizer. That's another way to say it. So that instead of uploading all these giant images, you can resize them all in one folder on your hard drive before you upload them. It'll save a lot of uploading time. It'll save you a lot of work later. But anyways, we have these pictures here now. If we hover over them, you'll see, and I'm going to zoom in here again, you'll see to the right of this one, you've got three buttons: Edit, Optimize, and Delete. It's also got the photo information. It's got the photo name up here. It's got the date created, created by whom, and it's got the size. This one is 1728 pixels wide by 1200 pixels tall. and it's not telling us the actual file size in megabytes or the file size taking up space on your hard drive. But generally you don't want a picture to be more than about 640 pixels wide for a website. So what we're going to do is optimize this particular image. When we go to the optimize, let me zoom back out here. What it's doing is showing us the image. This is only showing it at 58%. If we crank this thing up to 100%, which I'm going to do, you'll see why that's 99% right there. So you'll see why the picture dimensionally is ridiculously large. You may have gotten some in your emails before where you can't even see them in your emails without, you just see a small fraction of the picture and you have to scroll back and forth. So you need to resize photos. Okay, so what we're going to do is open the basic commands right here. Let me zoom in again so you're sure of what I'm talking about here. Over on the left side, you've got basic commands, you've got adjustments and photo effects. The main one you're going to use is basic. I'm going to zoom back out, click on that, and you'll notice you have three options over here. I'll zoom back in. You've got crop, resize, and then rotate and flip. First thing we want to do is resize. If you notice in this picture here, cropping means you're cutting out the outer edges in any degree you want. So we don't want to cut out the outer edges. We just want to resize the photo to something smaller and more manageable. So we're going to go ahead and click on resize, and it's going to ask us what our dimensions are. Right here is something really important. There's an option here that says Constrain Proportions. Make sure that that is checked. If that is not checked and I change the width, it'll change the width but not the height. If Constrain Proportions is checked, then when I change the width, the height is automatically changed to maintain the same height to width ratio, the same proportions in the picture, so the picture does not become distorted. Make sure, again, Constrain Proportions is checked. Okay, I'm going to zoom back in again here. We want a width of, make sure that is the area we have selected, 640 pixels wide. Notice it automatically changed the height to 444 pixels. I'm going to go back out. I'm going to hit apply. Now here we are at the same 99% picture size, and look, it's actually a reasonably sized picture on the screen. That's all we need to do right here. If you wanted to get rid of part of a picture, you could crop it. Notice it's got all these lines on here to separate certain areas. When you're cropping, you just grab one of these handles and you can go up or down, you can go right or left. The part of the picture that remains normal looking is what would be left. The part of the picture that's grayed out will be removed. So basically, let's say we only wanted this island right there. Then we could narrow it in just like that, and we'd go ahead over here and hit apply. We're not going to do that though. We're just going to use the whole picture right now. Okay, so we've resized it down to 640. It used to be 700 or 1740 pixels wide or something. Couple other important things up here. Let me zoom in again. You've got an undo button and a redo button. This little bar here doesn't actually change the size of the picture. It merely makes it bigger or smaller on your screen to make it easier for you to work with, but it's not truly affecting the size of the picture. The only way to do that is to crop or to resize down here lower. Okay, I'm going to zoom back out. We resize the photo, we hit done. And it says done, click save. We have to save it now. And it's processing it a little bit. That brings us back to, again, we're in the folder called test folder. There will be a change coming where you'll actually see the name of the folder here. The programmers are working on that, a little bit of oversight there. So basically what's going on here, we've now got this photo here. I'm going to zoom in again so we can see this clearly. It's now, if you notice, size is 640 by 444. We've reduced this thing to about 1/3 of its original size. What I want to do right now is edit. I'm going to zoom back out and we're going to show you what that means. Okay, when you edit an image, basically what's going on here is you can change the name and you can give it a description. So you're not really doing anything to the image, you're just adding information or making better information. Make sure you leave the JPG or the .jpg. That's required. That's the extension for JPEG images. If it says something different, whatever it is, leave it there. PNG, I'm just going blank on some of the other options, but most of them are going to be JPGs. That's what most cameras take. Okay, but let's give it something meaningful. Okay, we'll call it island.jpg. And down here in the description, kitchen island, you could say whatever you want. Okay, and then I'm going to zoom out here. You click on save. The image description's important because it will help you in the search engines, and it can also help you when we go to use this image later. Now let's go in here and optimize the second one. Notice again it's 1728 pixels wide. I'm just going to not talk. I'm just going to go through this one right now. I will talk. I'll lie. Okay, we've got this thing. I'm going to click on the basic. I'm going to resize it. Going to delete the old one and put in 640 pixels. And Constrain Proportions is checked. I apply that. Now notice if I go back to 100% of image size, there we go. That's the actual size of the picture would show on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and click done. And I have to save that. Okay, so we've gone back in here. If you look at the size of the new one, actually this is kind of another thing I'll bring up with the programmers, but just so you know what's going on. I'm going to zoom in here again. It's still showing that picture at 1728 pixels wide, so it's actually been changed. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go up to the right side. I'll zoom in there so you can see there's a button that says close. Click on close. Go back to the manage images, and we'll go back to the test folder. And if we hover over it now, it is correct. It says 640 pixels wide. On this one, let's edit the, actually, I previously did some editing on this, but if we go in here, we can change the name. I had it say table, and then I put in a description that said kitchen table with bench built into corner. Okay, that's good for the search engines again. Something I want you to notice here, I'm going to zoom in here up above the pictures. There's a choice that says publish gallery. Ignore that. Do not use it. We are not using that gallery. We're using a separate gallery that I built into the website. So I'm going to zoom back out. Basically at this point we can just go back to the right side, the top right, click on close. We're back at the main screen, and that's about all there is to it.